Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. It's a new week. We are very happy to introduce you to our show titled Speak of Africa. Well, we have another great show for you today. But before we begin, as usual, we want to say thank you to all our viewers. If this is the first time you're viewing our show, my name is Prince Ojong, your humble host. I'm the one presenting Speak of Africa. If you're a subscriber, we thank you very much for your trust and confidence. Keep those numbers going up. We need more subscribers. For the show of today, we have to focus on our normal theme. What is the news cycle like in Africa this week? Well, when we look at the major news, Donald Trump is returning to the US presidency. Then a lot of people are wondering with the geopolitical situation. The superpowers are scrambling for Africa. It looks like Africa is becoming prominent again. Donald Trump already has his hands full. He's already eyeing Africa. In fact, Thabo Mbeki, the former Undersecretary for Africa, is coming back into the Trump administration. Guys in Ambazonia, remember him? He's a guy who plays, he bites and switches. So he's coming back. So with much of the experience that he has with African affairs, he's going to help Donald Trump shape his African policy and even maybe global policy too. Because Thabo Mbeki has been the ambassador to Ethiopia, American ambassador to Ethiopia. So he understands the politics of the Horn. He has been supporting Somaliland, and some people say he's supporting Ambazonia. But when we look at the politics of the week, I think the theme is asking the following question. How can Africans move the continent forward? Is it through self-reliance or is it through Western dependency? Self-reliance means that if we want to move forward, we need to rise by our own bootstraps. Western dependency means our countries have to continue depending on Western loans from the International Monetary Fund. And you know, whenever the International Monetary Fund gives you money, it's like you've received money from the devil. The money comes with a lot of conditions. You must do this quid pro quo. Like you take the example of Ghana. Ghana has been going through a serious restructuring of debt. Things have not been easy. In fact, John Dramani Mahama won the election in Ghana because he was able to say he's coming with a new policy with austerity measures which are going to help the country in the short term to deal with the debt problem. But is that going to be enough? We don't think so. So when you look at this, which way? Well, most of the leaders are either pivoting towards self-reliance or they are pivoting towards Western dependency. On the self-reliance bandwagon, you have people like Ibrahim Traore. He thinks the way forward for Africa is for Africa to be self-reliant, which means for Africans to depend on themselves. So instead of sitting and waiting for Western countries to come and rescue us from our poverty, we have to do something for ourselves. And that's what Ibrahim Traore is doing already in his country. The vision of Thomas Sankara is alive in Burkina Faso. Already, most people are very, very impressed the way Ibrahim Traore is doing the work of his country. People are happy with some of the results he has achieved in most spheres. When Emmanuel Macron came out and started saying Africans are ungrateful, Ibrahim Traore retorted by saying, oh no, sovereignty, that's what Africans want. Africans want to be on their own. Africa has a lot of resources. Why is Africa poor? Africa is poor because of bad colonial politics. The colonial guys are stealing the resources of Africa. So the self-reliant leaders like Ibrahim Traore are saying we need to control our resources. We should not be giving our resources to most of these colonial countries for free. We have to make them pay a fair price for it. Similarly, we want to do commerce and trade with other African countries. So that's what self-reliance means. And Emerson in America talks a lot about self-reliance, okay? Waldo Emerson talks about self-reliance. Self-reliance is my motto. I've been saying this. We need to come to terms with the fact that we can only rely on ourselves. Let's stop behaving like beggars. Oh, Russia is inviting all African presidents. Japan is inviting all African presidents. America is inviting all African presidents. They go to these meetings like beggars. They stand in line begging for Western countries to rescue them. Isn't this sad? It's very, very sad. But that's a predicament. The young Africans have come of age. Most Africans today have political consciousness. They are aware of where they find themselves in the world of today. They are adrift, so they know that in our times we are having a lot of difficulties, and we have to solve these difficulties politically, socially, and economically. That's what is happening. So Burkina Faso is not alone. So even when we look at Mali, the same problem is happening. We look at Niger, we see a similar plight. Niger is using uranium to electrify France, whereas a lot of citizens of Niger are wallowing in darkness. The military junta is saying, instead of putting somebody like Mohamed Bazoum in power, who works for the colonial master France, we need a change. We need a new beginning where we have to renegotiate the selling of our uranium. Instead of allowing France to take our uranium for free and install us and say they don't want our citizens, dismiss them and install them as immigrants, we need to do things differently. We need France to pay us a fair price in the international market. They cannot buy our uranium for $1, then go and sell it for $100 in the international market. That cannot be anymore. And this is why even in Mali, Assimi Goïta has been sending his military guys to arrest people, like all these guys who are taking their minerals. They say, hey, no, you cannot just take our minerals for free. What about Chad? Well, Chad has been a colonial country for a long time, but Mahatma Debi Itno is also changing. He's telling France it's time to leave. So all these countries are becoming very, very patriotic, very, very nationalistic. They are telling France, your time is up. All those colonial pacts you sign have to go. And that's what we are dealing with in Africa today. What about the Central African Republic? Well, this is not really a patriotic country, but Assange Touadéra is playing a game. He's getting Russian support from the Wagner Group, but at the same time, he's playing games with his former French masters. He's playing three cards, right? Playing one master against the other. That's just the way smart African presidents are handling the superpower scramble for African resources. Then what about Senegal? Well, we like what is happening in Senegal. So far, Ousmane Sonko with Diomaye Faye, the president, have said no to the colonial master. So things are changing. They are changing very, very drastically. And we like what we see there. What about South Africa? Well, in South Africa, we know South Africa does not like the colonial forces. So South Africa loves the country to be free. So they are fighting. Then what about, because the war has been going on in Sudan, and this week we're telling you that the U.S. has really put sanctions on the two warring generals, Hemedti and El Bahman. They are all under sanction now. So the U.S. is there looking for U.S. interests. So it's not really for the interests of Sudan. Sudan generals are also saying they don't want to be giving the minerals of their country to America and these other countries for free. So things are changing. So most of these African leaders are wising up. But why is it that in places like Cameroon, we still have puppets like Paul Biya who cannot reason? What's really happening? Well, in the case of Cameroon, 2025 is a pregnant year. It's a year pregnant with meaning because a lot of things are going to happen. Already, when we look at the horizon in La République du Cameroon, things do not really augur well. It looks like things are going to be tough. Is Biya going to run for election, or Biya is not going to run for election? That's a question on a lot of inquiring minds. Biya officially has declared that he's running for re-election, and the opposition is not happy about it. Even the guys in the clergy, they're already complaining about it. But Biya said he wants to run again. And it looks like there's nobody who can really stop him because he controls the apparatus of state. But is it going to be smooth sailing this time for Paul Biya? We don't think so. We already see so many headwinds. So many headwinds. This morning, we read a story about Alamin Usman May, who is a Minister of Economy. We hear he has resigned. This doesn't all go well. He has resigned, and it looks like there's pressure from the north. He comes from Kuseri, in the north of the country. It looks like he is planning. But the Biya mafia is like the Sicilian mafia. You cannot just leave and go away quietly, because the mafia does not let you leave. It's like a secret society. Once you become a member, you die a member. When you decide to leave in advance, they try to settle scores. And that's what happens. To them, it's like, if you are carrying eggs, you don't create trouble, because those eggs will be broken. So that's what we think is going to happen to Alamin Usman May, because the CPDM apparatus is not going to leave him alone. You saw what they did to Titus Ejua, right? Whenever you have political ambitions in that country, Biya's people come after you. And we know they're going to come after Alamin Usman May. So is he going to leave the CPDM, a sinking ship, to declare his candidacy in the north? We are waiting to see what's going to happen. But we know things are pregnant with meaning. 2025 does not go very, very well. A lot has to give in La République du Cameroon. Okay? Whether Biya runs or Biya doesn't run, things are going to be pregnant with meaning. So what is going to happen? Then Maurice Kamto and a lot of the guys in the opposition, and even Akeremona, they are in the opposition. Are they going to choose Akeremona as a candidate for the opposition? Those are questions that a lot of people are asking in La République du Cameroon. Akeremona is a popular lawyer in the country. Are they going to choose him this time? What about Cabral Libi? We interviewed Cabral Libi on this show a few weeks ago, and he presented his book. Do you think he's going to be the next president? Those are all questions a lot of inquiring minds are asking, looking at what is happening in La République du Cameroon. Biya remains the big elephant in the room. He doesn't want to go away, but the people want him to go away. He said, oh no, I still have energy, I can still work. They say, no, you are too old. You cannot run the country. The country has a lot of problems. The country needs to get on a new path. You represent the past. The country needs somebody who can take them, usher them into the future. But Biya is adamant. He wants to stay in power, and he wants to die in power. So that's the predicament a lot of the folks in La République du Cameroon are facing. But when you look at, in the case of Cameroon, what is Biya offering? Biya is offering more and more Western dependency. You look at a country that he has governed for over 42 years. He said this country is going to emerge in 2035. We told you this is just a mirage. It's not going to happen, because this guy doesn't know how to build an economy. Okay? This guy doesn't know how to rebuild a broken political system. This guy doesn't know how to build a society. If he does, why has he not done it after 42 years in power? That's the question a lot of inquiring minds are asking. When people listen to Paul Biya's end of the year speech, we already towards the middle of January. Oh, I'm going to do this. The speech sounded like an opposition candidate, a guy who is running for office for the first time. But people are very, very despondent. Then now there's even more bad news. So it looks like every day you get more bad news for Paul Biya. Laurent Esso, the Minister of Justice, has been flown to France for medical treatment. Initially, they said they were going to treat him in La République du Cameroon. So what happened? Why did he leave Cameroon and go to France for treatment. The Minister of Health said, oh, Cameroon has nice hospitals, they can treat him in Cameroon. Why did Laurent Esso leave Cameroon and go to France? And you know, Laurent Esso is a pillar of the regime. He is also as old as Biya is, even though he's just 82. But 82 is old. So everything depends on him. So now that he's sick and dying, what is going to happen to the Minister of Justice? Everything is going to be frozen in time, right? That's the Biya style. Things have to be frozen in time. As things are frozen in time, the youth are not patient. The youth want change. They want change right now. The youth of Cameroon is tired of Western dependency. The youth in Cameroon is tired of France with all those colonial pacts. The youth wants a new beginning. So the youth of today is very, very politically conscious. They are very aware. They want things to change. And they think that things can change for the better if an obstacle such as Paul Biya is neutralized. So that's what we see in La République du Cameroon. And of course, the problems are there. You have Boko Haram in the north. You have the Ambazonia problem. Talking about the Ambazonia problem, even today, the guys in Biafra, I said it before, they are invading the Cameroon territory, and Biya's army cannot do anything about it. The Biafra guys are invading, killing people, soldiers in the Republic of Cameroon. So they're doing this, like this Bakassi area, they're doing it with full abandon, okay? And when you think the problem in Ambazonia has been ignored, it has been ignored for too long, but the people continue talking about self-determination. This is like a song, the refrain of a song that doesn't go away. It keeps echoing in the minds of Africa. Ambazonia, Ambazonia, Ambazonia. Before I end the part for Ambazonia, I want to play a video of Ambazonia protesting in Washington, D.C. Take a minute to watch this video. My friend Elvis Cometa is leading the march. Come on, Elvis, do your stuff.
Never leave our land halfway until we claim our land. 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 We shall never leave halfway. Oh, until we claim our land. Until we claim our land. Until we claim our land. We shall never leave our journey halfway. Until we reach Boya. Until we reach Boya. Until we reach Boya. We will never leave our journey halfway. Oh, until we reach Boya. We will never leave our journey halfway. Oh, until we reach Boya.
Welcome to a Uke Tax Service. We are tax professionals at your service. Our services include tax returns, payroll, bookkeeping, business planning. We provide professional service, years of experience, and are proud to serve your business. Get your maximum tax refund with 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. We are located at 11207A Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20901. Contact us at 240-350-1131, fax 240-556-0535, or email service@ayuketaxservice.com. Our hours of operation are weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and weekends 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. For more information, please visit us online at www.ayuketaxservice.com. NEWSWORTHY.com.
In addition to the problems in Amazonia, you also see Western dependency in Congo DRC. M23 is not shying away. M23 is growing in influence in Congo DRC in the east. There's a lot of turmoil. Felix Tshisekedi is saying he's not going to negotiate with M23. We think that's a mistake. He needs to come back to the table and negotiate with M23. Kagame holds the trump cards. What is the role of Kagame? Felix Tshisekedi needs to understand how the political game should be played. Otherwise, he will continue losing influence in this part of the world. Then what about Kenya? Kenya also is an interesting case. William Ruto is a boy of the West. When he came to America, you saw the way he was feted in Washington. He is not a nationalist. He is a puppet of the West. And which is why you see now that he's using Kenyan police to fight in Haiti. So far, the mission has not been successful. We told you so. We told you this mission is not going to be successful because it has not been well thought out. When you go into war, you need to plan it well. William Ruto doesn't plan things well. He keeps flying all over the place like Bola Tinubu in Nigeria. He doesn't plan. They were there in Haiti already. But Haiti is a place where the state is failing drastically. And I don't think the Kenyan police are going to make any difference. Haiti, since the earthquake 13 years ago, Haiti has not been stable. Always change of governments. Killing has become rampant. It has become the order of the day. So this is really sad. Then what about Nigeria? Well, Nigeria, this morning we woke up to some bad news. A tanker capsized and the product was spilled all over the streets and over 86 people died. This is not the first time we've had such an accident in Nigeria. A lot of Nigerian friends reminded me that this type of accidents have been rampant in Nigeria. Sometimes they took place around other parts of the country on some of those flyovers. You just imagine when a tanker collapses when it's on a flyover, it spills everything down, so anybody who was around that area loses his life. I know how fuel is very, very combustible. So a lot of people died. So Bola Tinubu should really focus on looking for ways to help his people. But we see that he spent more time traveling and doing stuff that is not really helping Nigerians. And that's the problem. So even now, people see Bola Tinubu as a puppet of the West. He travels, he wants to be relevant, especially since he doesn't really have enough legitimacy. A lot of Nigerians and foreigners feel he was not really elected by the Nigerian people. He bought his way into office. And that's the issue of illegitimacy that he's been contending with for a very long time. How is this going to play out? For one, he remains a puppet of the West. When we talk about self-reliance, Nigeria is a kind of country where we should really have self-reliance. Nigeria has a lot of oil and a lot of other resources. Talking about intellectual resources, you have more brains in Nigeria than any other country in Africa. But why is it that this president cannot sit down and come up with a plan? Nigeria has its own currency. Bola Tinubu, instead of sitting alone and coming up with economic policies, he needs to sit with a $1 million mind, a group, so that they can sit down and come up with policies that can move the economy of Nigeria ahead. Nigeria has done something that most African countries have not done. Nigeria has its own currency, the Naira. But how is Bola Tinubu leveraging the fact that Nigeria has its own currency? We think he's not doing a good job. He doesn't really understand economics. So he needs to get an economic team to sit with him and show him how Nigeria can leverage the fact that they have their own currency. Most of these former colonial countries like Cameroon, they are using the French franc. Even though the French folks are using the euro. Cameroon is still using the French franc. Senegal, all of them are still using the French franc. Nigeria has its own currency. That's positive. Why can Bola Tinubu not sit with a board of economists so that they can come up with positive policies so that Nigeria can leverage their own currency? That's important. On the political realm, Bola Tinubu loves his role in ECOWAS, but ECOWAS is facing a lot of headwinds. The countries in the Sahel are already saying no and no to ECOWAS. What is Bola Tinubu doing? He keeps listening to instructions from his Western masters. That should end. When you depend on colonial masters, just the way John Mahama is doing, we want him also to stop listening to instructions from colonial masters. Come up with a more self-reliant agenda for your people. This is the only way Africans can move forward. And Africans who are in the diaspora, a lot of you are here. I'm encouraging you, don't just depend on your country. Prepare yourself for the challenge of nationhood. Try to be self-reliant. Build yourself. If you're in a foreign country, such as the United States, get a good education, get a lot of skills, then prepare yourself to get into business and make money. Because that's the advice we're giving a lot of Africans. The world is changing. You have to change with the world. Don't believe in colonial education. It's not working. Get a new type of education that is sensitive to the needs of the marketplace. That's the education that we need. We need education that is pro-Africa. In terms of the economy, we need to have our own currency. Nigeria has a currency, but Nigeria is not leveraging this currency. Bola Tinubu needs to talk to a board of economists so that they can guide him, show him how to empower Nigerians when they have their own currency. Democracy, that's another issue. It does not exist. How can you have self-reliance when you cannot have democracy? So these are some of the issues we've raised to the fore. But before we leave, we want to tell you, we are business people. Our business is income tax preparation. It is tax time, and we are encouraging you to come to Ayok Tax Service. Ayok Tax Service does taxes all over the country. Whether you are in California, we can help you file your taxes. Whether you are in Texas, we can help you file your taxes. If you are in Idaho, we can help you file your taxes. If you are in New York, we can help you file your taxes. So it doesn't matter where you are in the United States, we can help you file your taxes. So we're going to end this video by sharing a video of our services with you. Bye-bye.
Tired of waiting in long lines at the emergency room or your doctor's office? You should be. Why wait in long lines for care? It's time for you to come to Lucille Urgent Care. Real care, no waiting. Lucille Urgent Care, the best place for true and loving care. Service at Lucille Urgent Care is convenient, fast, time efficient, affordable, accessible, transparent, and cost effective. Real treatment is your right. Indeed, it's not just a privilege or pejorative. Skip the emergency room's long lines, kiss the ER goodbye, say farewell to your old doctor's office, pay less, save time, enjoy the excitement of convenience, receive immediate treatment, get the healthcare you need quickly and affordably. Lucille Urgent Care offers many express services: rapid COVID-19 testing, on-site prescription, preventative lab services, imaging and x-rays, urgent medical treatment for common illnesses and injuries, routine vaccines and flu shots, work-related injury services, pre-employment, occupational, annual, and sports physicals, immigration exams, and much more. Same-day treatment, rapid lab results, extended hours, weekend hours, no appointment necessary, no insurance necessary, no doctor necessary, walk-ins accepted, telemedicine available. We are open 7 days a week with evening and weekend hours. We are located in Maryland. Lucille Urgent Care, 903 Half York Road, Towson, Maryland, 21204. Website, lucilleuc.com. Call at 443-275-1286 or 301-593-4897.
Do you need tax preparation services? We can help. Contact PJ Tax Service America's only full-time income tax preparers. Like the good old doctor, we do not close our doors after April 15th. In fact, we stay open all year round in order to serve you. We are located at 11207A Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland 20901. Make an appointment today with Prince Ojong, your tax expert. Call 240-350-1131 or visit us on the web at www.pjtaxservice.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.